It's so easy to get carried away by the desire to find love, to be loved, and to be in love. I mean, it's easy to waste away by the obsession for relationship with the opposite sex that we can end up losing ourselves. Don't get me wrong. I mean, finding or seeking true love in itself is not bad. I mean, it's not bad. That's what we all hope for, right? As singles, to one day find the Mr. Lover. But when it becomes an obsession, or where we idolize it to the point where we completely lose ourselves or lose the will to live, to be fulfilled, I mean, and to stay happy, then it becomes a thing of worry. Hi, beautiful people. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're doing really great. I mean, like I am doing. It's good to have you again here. It's good to see you in this video again. If you're new on this channel, my name is Ololade Adeniji, and you're welcome to my channel, Lolade Talks. Make sure to join this family. Either sounds like some content you would love to see regularly here by subscribing to my channel so that you get notifications when I upload new videos. I promise you, I have really amazing content waiting for you. In this video, I'll be talking about a really sensitive part of being single, and that is staying happy, finding fulfillment, and being intentional about it. I've had conversations with some married ladies now who, before they got married, had to wait for a while, and some have said to me, like, Lalade, I wish I was happier while I was single. I wish I spent time and invested in the things that made me feel happy, fulfilled, as a single, other than moving from one date to another, moving from one relationship to another, going from one place to another, all in the name of searching or waiting for Mr. Right. And I've also had conversations with some of my single ladies and sisters. Sometimes I've asked, like, oh, how is your new relationship? And you hear things like, oh, it's better than the past relationship. And sometimes they're like, oh, okay, how about your new guy? And they are like, yeah, it's great. It's better than the old guy. And I'm like, hell no. When did the old guy become the standard? I mean, when did the past relationship become the standard? And I feel like this is an error. And this error is due to the fact that we do not really pay attention to ourselves. We do not pay attention to the things that are going on inside of us. Like we don't even do an audit of our lives, of ourselves, and how much you have grown. I mean, you're just coming out from a relationship to just sit down to do an audit. Oh, okay, what are those things about this relationship that I just didn't like? Okay, how about me? Have I took some baggages from that relationship? How much have I grown? What have I lost in that relationship? Or what part of me have I lost in that relationship? And spending time with yourself to search your soul and your inside to know what exactly is changing, what is transiting, what is evolving. No, it's always about the next, the next date, the next relationship, the next guy, the next this, the next that. And this is the situation that a lot of us single ladies, especially, find ourselves. It's always about the next for us. We do everything possible to be in a relationship. We just want to be loved. We just want to start another relationship. We want to date again. And that is fine. It's not wrong. But I feel like there are a lot of things that we need to put in place before we start to do that so that we don't compare the new to the bad. We don't keep comparing the new to the bad. A lot of times we talk about self love or selfishness. We talk about self love, but most of the time we really are about that self love because we want to move into the next relationship. We want to move into the next want to move to the next date. And so it's an obsession, actually, not really an act that we are doing because we know that we need it. This is what I mean. How about focusing on you, spending time with you, committing to doing an auditing of your life, you know, focusing on the things going on inside of you, having, maintaining, and evaluating your standards. How about you just being happy with your life? Just being happy with who you are, who you're becoming, how much you're growing. In this video, I'll be talking about intentionality, being intentional about your love life, being intentional about the way that you love and love itself. And so, at this intentionality, I'll actually be talking about it in three forms. I'll be talking about be intentional about loving and living your life, be intentional about loving and living in God, then be intentional about the people you love and allow or let into your life. I will be talking to us ladies because I feel like this really hits. I mean, this is something that really, really affects us. The period of singleness, I believe, is the only period that anyone gets the freedom or anyone is allowed to be selfish. Yes, I'll say it as it is, to be selfish. It's the hard truth. I mean, as a lady, it's the time you get to spend so much time on yourself, the time you get to spend your money the way you want, the time you get to go on trips without really taking permission or having to give a notice. You know, it's the time you can bag as much certification as you want without, feeling burdened or overwhelmed because you have to take care of your kids or take care of your husband. It's a time you get to just do you. Just do the things that you want to do as long as it doesn't hurt anybody and it makes you happy. It's also the time that you get to invest all of your time, all of your resources, all of your talent on just developing yourself, on just yourself, just doing you. But the problem is, as single ladies especially, we rarely do this. We don't usually do this because the society has made us to think or believe that if you're doing all of this, then we are doing too much. I mean, you hear things like, who will marry you with all this, your achievements? You're looking like you don't need a man. You look all put together. You have your mates. You have achieved so much. So who is going to, marry you? You hear all those things, and the society forces us to choose a form, and we allow ourselves to conform to that. But guess what the Bible says in Romans 12, verse 2? Yes, I mean, every of my opinion and everything I always say on this channel is always going to be based on biblical principles. The Bible said in Romans 12, verse 2 that be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. There you will know that which is good, is acceptable, and the perfect will of God. Be transformed here talks about updating the version of you that you are daily. How? By renewing your mind, not by conforming to the society's standard norms and cultural values or beliefs, but by the renewing of your mind. How? Investing in yourself, being selfish, spending time on yourself, engaging resources and opportunities that allows you to grow and be transformed into the version of you that you are proud of, into the version of you that you want to become. But how will you do this if you don't spend time with yourself? How will you do this if you don't spend time loving yourself, if you don't commit to loving yourself and be intentional about it? If you're not consistent, if you're not intentional about your mental health, you're not intentional about your spiritual growth, you're not intentional about your physical well-being, you're not intentional about growing your mind, your intellect, you're not intentional about investing in yourself so that you're proud of the life that you're living, not because you want to be prime and proper for the next guy or for the next relationship, but because you want to become a version of you that you're proud of. You want to live a life that you are proud of. You want to look back at this time that you're single and say, oh, I lived a fulfilling single life. You want to live a life that reflects the love of God. You want to sit down, audit and evaluate your standard again. You want to check yourself and be sure that you're doing the things that you really want to do and you're becoming the person you want to be. Because there is no better time. There is no better time for you to discover the things that really make you happy and that really makes you feel whole and fulfilled. So the next form of intentionality that we'll be talking about is be intentional about loving and living in God or for God. Yes, I know anytime and every time we talk about this, what comes to the mind of people is being religious, being spiritual, or acting a certain way. Yeah, a little of that may be included. Yeah, that could be included. But loving and living for God or in God is way beyond all that. I mean, it's more about submissiveness and obedience to God. That's what God said. If you love me, then you will obey me. So there is no loving if there is no obedience. Loving and living in God or for God is more about submitting yourself, submitting your will, submitting your desires, your needs, your everything to God, and seeking to know His will, seeking to know His mind so that you can obey. In verse 1 of our text, Romans 12, it says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, or therefore, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, that you present your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Him. For this is your spiritual act of worship. So, presenting here is talking about offering, giving, submitting, surrendering, I mean, letting go. It's talking about sacrifice. And you don't take back what you have sacrificed to God. Sacrificing your bodies, sacrificing your desires, sacrificing your will to Him. So you're submitting everything to Him. And then you seek to know His will and fulfill, I mean, His will or obey Him. This is where the struggle is. We struggle to let go and let God. We struggle to heal. We struggle to forgive. We struggle to accept even His love. We struggle to let Him just have His way. We struggle to obey Him. And yes, we're going to struggle to obey Him because we're not totally submissive. We're not totally surrendered. We have not actually given or offered ourselves as sacrifices and just turned back and not look back. No, we still keep looking back. you know we keep we don't even seek to know His will, and this is why we find ourselves conforming to the standard of the world or to the standard of the society. We will, because we don't, I mean, it's even easy to conform, right? Because if you're not going to conform, then you have to do research. I mean, that means you have to seek the face of God, but we are not so intentional about it. And that's why I'm talking about us being intentional. I know, yes, we are Christians. I know, yes, you love God. I know, yes, you go to church, you pray. In the second part of the verse 2 of our text, Romans 12 says, and then you will know that which is good, is acceptable, and is perfect will. When we build, invest, and renew our relationship consistently with God, we will most likely not easily conform to the standard of this world, because we will know His will. We will be sure. He said in His word, call on me and I will answer you. I will show you great and mighty things which you do not know. So when you spend time in the presence of God, you spend time investing and building and renewing and growing your relationship with God, He will definitely answer you and show you those things that you do not know. He will show you the standard by which you should live your life. He will show you the standard by which anybody coming into your life has to comply with. He will show you the will, that desire that is too rigid. He will show you those things you have to let go. He will show you those things you have to be very firm on. He will show you everything, because you know why? Because He sees your heart. He sees that you're really seeking Him, and that's what He wants. He wants us to attain that level where we seek to know His mind. Doing all of this will help us to experience real and relevant transformation that we seek, that will bring about the true happiness and fulfillment that we desire as singles. I would also like to say here that there is the good, there is the acceptable, and there is the perfect will of God. Many a times we stop at the good will of God. For instance, let's say he's a Christian and then we're just fine. I mean, he goes to church, that's just fine. I mean, I don't think I need to say to anybody that the fact that a guy goes to church or the fact that a lady goes to church does not mean that they are God's will for you, right? But hey, that's what we do. We stop at is the good will of God. Some of us even try, we push it down to acceptable will of God. And that could be any definition for you. It could be that maybe he doesn't do this. And I feel like that is where the idea of he's better than the past guy, or the relationship is better than my past relationship, or this new guy is better than the new guy. I feel that's where the idea comes in. We stop at he's good and or is acceptable will. But where God wants us to actually get to is the level of knowing his perfect will. And the perfect will of God is the mind of God. You need to we need to get to that level where we seek to know the mind of God. We seek to know the mind of God, because that is where the perfect will of God lies from God. Because the perfect will of God is not just all about what you want. The perfect will of God is not just all about what you need. The perfect will of God is not all about the guy ticking all your boxes. The perfect will of God is not all about those lists of things that you have written. No, is beyond that. The perfect will of God is more about seeking the mind of God about that job, about that career, about that relationship, about the person, about that thing, that project, everything about you. For ladies, I must say that you have to actually get to the level where it's not all about he's tall, dark, and handsome anymore. Yes, and the good thing is God's plans for you are also good. God's plans for you are of good and not of evil. So if you want someone good for yourself, you can imagine what God wants for you. Of course, He wants something beyond good. We cannot judge by ourselves. We judge by physical looks, right? But it is God who knows and sees the heart. So we need to attain that level where we submit everything to God. And this brings me to the last form of intentionality that I want to talk about, which is being intentional about the people that you love and allow into your life. So, exercising intentionality in how you love God, how you love yourself, how you live for God, and how you live your life will definitely help you or lead you to be intentional about the people you date or about your relationship. Yeah, this sets you up to identify and maintain relationships that will encourage and support you, because you will have clarity about your what and your why. You will know why you're doing something, and you know what you should be doing. You will know what you should be looking out for and why, because you have sorted it out with God, you have sorted it out with yourself, and so you know what you're looking for and why you're looking for that thing. Okay, so this is not about having high standards, high in quotes, or having unrealistic expectations, or having a list of rules and regulations or qualities to be looking out for and all of that. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But rather, I'm talking about achieving a form of alignment with the will and standard of God for you, for your life, for your purpose, and for your marital destiny. And now your reason for moving to the next relationship or moving to the next dating scene is not because you hate being single. It's not because you feel you're lonely. It's not because you become desperate. It's not because you feel like, I mean, it's 3 months, it's a year, it's already 2 years since your last relationship, or because you feel a sense of urgency, or because there's pressure from family or pressure from friends, but because you want to establish your God words and your God why of that relationship. And that is why you even have to be careful and mindful and intentional about the people that come into your circle. I mean, be intentional about the friends you have around you now. If you are going to have friends, you need to have friends who encourage and support your growth, who knows where you're going to by virtue of the fact that you have communicated it to them, they understand it. You know, friends who will tell you the truth and say, look, this is where you're supposed to be going. This is where this person is going. Are you sure you want to do this? Friends who will check up on you and say, oh, are you sure this compromise is not too much of a compromise? Friends that will tell you the truth according to God's word, according to God's standard, people who really care about you and your relationship with God. And this, for me, sets you up to identify and maintain relationships, friendships, and communities that supports and encourages you to grow, and to thrive in your singleness. And yes, serve God while you wait. You need to serve God and serve people. You need to be there for people. You need to love people genuinely. I mean, how can you love a God that you've not seen if you don't love the people that you are seeing? You understand? So you need to be more intentional about meeting the needs of other people. Don't be blinded by just you. Don't be blinded by only you. You want to take, even when you meet people, when you have friends, it shouldn't be all about what you stand to gain in that friendship or in that relationship. You should also think deep about what you can give back, how you can be a blessing to this person. You can have, for instance, being friends with a married person. It's not all about so that you can learn from that person, learn from their wealth of experience. How about you looking deep into their lives too and see how you can also be of help, how you can, serve them. And while you're serving, you're also being blessed. You're learning a lot of things too, because that's how it goes. It's like a circle. I know I said be selfish, but don't become so selfish to the point that you don't even see the need of other people, of the people around you. No, though that's not the kind of selfishness I'm talking about, right? Seek opportunities to serve. Serve God and serve the people around you. Serve God and serve humanity. All right, ladies, I hope that you stay happy. I hope that you live a fulfilled single life. Remember that singleness is for a season, and just as every other season passes, this season too shall pass. You're not going to be single all your life. We are not going to be single all our lives. But while we are single, we are going to stay happy, we're going to thrive, and we're going to live a fulfilled single life. So I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.